What's up, zoners? Today we are going to be answering the question, does strength of schedule actually matter for fantasy football? We're going to be looking at quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers from last season with the best and worst strength of schedules. We're going to be looking at their ADP and if they out or underperformed those ADPs. We should have a good idea if there is a correlation between the two at the end of this episode. Stick around. I've got all my notes typed out. We're going to hit the quarterbacks right now. First up, you're looking at the table for the quarterbacks. We've got the quarterbacks here in the first column, Brock Purdy and such. We've got the strength of schedule in the next column for 2023. So Brock Purdy had the best strength of schedule. Dak had the second best, and so on. Third column, where they finish for quarterbacks during the season. And if they were injured, a large portion of that season, I was fair. It went points per game, just like Kirk Cousins over here. But still, man, so Brock Purdy finished as quarterback 6. Dak finished as quarterback 3. And then the next column, the ADP from last season. Brock Purdy was quarterback 20 taken last season. Dak was quarterback 11, and so on. And then the difference between the ADP and where they finished. So, hey, man, you drafted Brock Purdy at ADP 20, quarterback 20. He finished as quarterback number 6. That is a net positive of 14. All right, first up, Brock Purdy. He broke all of the efficiency records last year. He broke out, man. Nobody thought he was going to be as good as he was. Second, man, Dak Prescott. Holy shit. Same thing. I was like, Mike McCarthy's calling offense. This is going to be terrible. And it was, dude, for the first half. And then him and CeeDee Lamb broke out. He was pretty much the second best quarterback in the league the second half of the year. Finished, dude, as quarterback 3, drafted as quarterback 11, plus 8 on your ADP. So there's 2 breakouts in a row. Kirk Cousins, like I said, I'm taking points per game here. As a Vikings fan, dude, I thought he was going to be in that quarterback 12 range. He was coming out hot, man, throwing touchdowns, taking the league by storm. Surprisingly, actually. And let's see, he finished as quarterback 7 in points per game. So he outperformed his ADP by 6. Those are 3 kind of breakout quarterbacks right there out of 3. Then we have Justin Fields. He was given all the opportunities. The NFL was trying to set him up for success. He could not take advantage of it. Plus, he was injured. Bryce Young, dude, he was trying to get set up for success as well last year, and we will see this season as well. NFL is trying to set up Bryce Young for success, and he didn't do anything with it, man. Drafted as a quarterback 23, finished as quarterback 23. And then lastly, man, another quarterback breakout here, dude. Nobody thought Jordan Love was going to be as good as he was. Dude, ADP, quarterback 21, finished as quarterback 5. So here we go. We got Purdy, Dak, Cousins, and Love. 4 breakout quarterbacks out of the top 6 best schedules from last season. There is definitely a correlation there. And this row right here is just the all of the net added up. So, plus 40 over their ADP in this group. And then, dude, let's move on to the worst strength of schedules from last season. First up, Tua Tagovailoa, man, had the worst. He ended up doing pretty good. Plus 1 on his net. Tyreek Hill was insane. If Tyreek Hill was healthy all season, Tua would have been even better. Trevor Lawrence, here's a first setup, dude. We thought Trevor Lawrence was going to be great last year. He was a failure. Finished as quarterback 13. So that's one bad thing right there, dude. Joe Burrow, he started off terrible, and I had to take points per game from him, right? He was quarterback 5 taken. Dude, if it was just how he finished, he was quarterback 30 or something or 40 something. If you do points per game, he had terrible games in there. I know he went on a heater, but before that, man, he was doing bad. So quarterback 26, that is another underperforming quarterback. Justin Herbert, he was drafted as quarterback 6 with Kellen Moore over there. And yeah, Mike Williams got injured and he had an injured finger, but still. Justin Herbert, man, finishes quarterback 11 on points per game status is another disappointment. So we have one good person, which was Tua, and that should have been even better. And he had the worst schedule in the NFL. But then Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, man. And then Kenny Pickett, dear God, dude, fell off a cliff. Finishes quarterback 48 on points per game. That guy had like 2-point games, 3-point fantasy football games, man. Terrible. So another correlation there. He did way worse. We thought he was going to be, I didn't think he was going to be a breakout, but everybody thought he might be a breakout. And then CJ Stroud, dude, he was the bright spot here. He did well. This should be encouraging. He did well even with a shitty schedule last season. So net on the quarterbacks with the worst strength of schedules from last year is negative 42. And so here we go, dude, just up top. What, like 4 out of 5? Because we're not going to count that 0. overperformed. And then like 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 out of 5 here underperformed. So a huge correlation to strength of schedule with overperforming and underperforming quarterbacks. We're going to talk about this later, but that is a huge deal, and it should matter for this year's rankings. And speaking of this year's rankings, let's look at the quarterbacks with the top 5 or 6 strength of schedules from this year. Trevor Lawrence, man. So we just had Trevor Lawrence. T-Law had one of the worst schedules last season. He's got the easiest this year. There is a strong correlation with quarterbacks for overperforming now with a good schedule. Trevor Lawrence is going to be going up my rankings. Bryce Young, dude, they're trying to give him another favor. I don't give a fuck, dude. Bryce Young, I don't think so. I will be more interested in Deontay Johnson, I think. Will Levis, man. I'm not going to draft Will Levis, but yeah, the NFL is trying to set him up for success. Jordan Love, man, they want the Green Bay Packers to be good, okay? Jordan Love is back here. Let's see, dude. He had the 6th easiest schedule last season, and now he's got the 4th easiest schedule. So Jordan Love, man, will live up to the hype once again. JJ McCarthy, my Vikings have number 5 strength of schedule. I think he might be going up my rankings a little bit, assuming maybe, or Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold I probably should have put here, but still. Then Anthony Richardson, he is going too high for me, but the NFL wants him to be good. So they want good quarterback play right now, and they saw what Anthony Richardson was doing, and they're setting him up for success this season. Now on the flip side, man, Josh Allen is probably the only quarterback I do not care about the schedule for. He had the 16th easiest schedule last season, finished number 1, but he is the show there, dude. Jalen Hurts depends on rushing touchdowns, and I have question marks about that. And I can see maybe Joe Burrow when he gets on a heater, but that is a special situation. Josh Allen, the worst schedule in NFL next year. Brock Purdy, dude, has the 2nd hardest schedule in the NFL. We just talked about him last season, breaking all those efficiency records, having one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. I think he had the number 1 easiest schedule. What is going to happen now with Brock Purdy, dude? He had the easiest schedule. Now he's at the 2nd hardest schedule. I will be moving him down my rankings. And Debo and Ayuk, I think, might be getting hurt as well. Bo Nix, dude, the 3rd hardest, but I don't think anybody's going to be really drafting Bo Nix right now anyways. Tua, again, man, one of the most difficult schedules. The NFL hates the Dolphins. Kyler Murray, man, we need to pay attention to this because we are high on Kyler Murray right now. The 5th hardest strength of schedule, and then Joe Burrow, again, a difficult schedule. So Josh Allen is the only person on this list that I will not care about, but we need to pay attention to this and let it affect our rankings. All right, next up, running backs, man. First up, Kyren Williams. This is crazy, okay? We talked about Kyren Williams having 8-man boxes 5% of the time. James Cook was the next up like at 10%, and then everybody else was like at 30%, dude. So that is insane. And plus, on top of that, he had the easiest run schedule in the NFL last season. He finished as running back 2. If you go by points per game, and if you just watched NFL football last year, you know that's true. His ADP was like 50, dude, so plus 48. And then here we go, dude. What, Antonio Pierce? I say Antonio Pierce. It's Dameon Pierce. I wish it was Antonio Pierce. He might have done better last year. The Texans, man, he had the easiest strength of schedule last season. He fell off a cliff, man, negative 30. He was drafted, as a running back 2 and finished as a running back 22. Isaiah Pacheco, man, he outperformed as well. I was kind of low on Isaiah Pacheco. I was like, dude, this system does not need a running back. Patrick Mahomes does not need a running back. And then, dude, Pacheco started consistently getting 80 yards and a touchdown almost every game. Finished as a high-end running back 2, so running back 14 overall. That outperformed his ADP by 12, so that is another breakout. Nick Chubb, I had one game to work off of, but the Browns had the easiest schedule. You saw Jerome Ford take over and outperform greatly, but still, I'm just calling this a wash for the Browns. Tony Pollard, man, had the 5th easiest schedule last year, and he couldn't do shit with it, man. It was his show. He sucked. I'm taking Tajay Spears, okay? So that was another disappointment in the top easiest schedules. And then Raheem Mostert, dude, they had the 6th easiest schedule last season. So they had a very difficult pass schedule, very easy run schedule. They ran the ball a lot, dude. He had a ton of rushing touchdowns. I think he tied the league in NFL rushing touchdowns, plus 39. So, and then let's look at the most difficult strength of schedules last season. Miles Sanders, dude, do you remember him? Remember when people liked him? He was drafted as a running back 2, ADP 17, man. He had the most difficult strength of schedule last year, and it showed. Okay, but Chuba Hubbard came in and did well, but still, was it just strength of schedule, man, that just killed Miles Sanders? Maybe. He looked a lot better with a better offensive line on a better team. Jonathan Taylor, dude, the second worst strength of schedule last year, and I think that showed. Jonathan Taylor, I have ranked high this season. Travis Etienne, man, had the third worst strength of schedule last season, and he still finished as running back 3. He was drafted as running back 10. I put him as a bust because of his success on the red zone, on the goal line, and they got Tank Bigsby. I was scared of that, but he proved me wrong. +7, dude. Aaron Jones. This guy had the hamstring tweaks all season long, but still pretty shitty strength of schedule, and he was drafted as a running back 2, a high-end running back 2, and he finished as a running back 3 flex points per game. Dude, he had a couple good games, but really, he had a lot of bad games. He was a disappointment. Rachaad White, man, coming out of here. So Rachaad White got his points through usage last season, and if you look at all the running back stats, you're like, dude, this guy sucked running the ball. Well, there was a reason, man. He had a really tough strength of schedule last year. He still outperformed it, man. Finished as running back 4. He was, dude, drafted as running back 24. So super outperformed it. And now, dude, he has the second easiest strength of schedule this year. Holy shit, he's going to be shooting up our draft boards. Alvin Kamara, man, had a terrible strength of schedule last year. And still, man, was like literally running back 2 for a while. But he finished as running back 3. I did not like the running back situation there. It was just a big clusterfuck at the end. I was an Alvin Kamara owner. I did not like it. But still, man, a huge success again. And he's got the easiest strength of schedule next year, man. Alvin Kamara should be going up our draft board. So let's look at the next season's, or this season's 2024 running backs with the best and worst strength of schedules. Kamara, number 1. Like I said, dude, he did awesome with a terrible strength of schedule last year. Rachaad White, number 2, same thing. So they should be going way up our draft boards. Jonathan Brooks, man, if we can figure out who's running the ball for the Panthers, we need to put him up our draft boards. Gus Edwards, man, great strength of schedule. And maybe J.K. Dobbs, but I draft that full all the time and he disappoints me. Najee Harris or T.J. Warren, man. Go get him if you believe in them. And if you believe in Bijan Robinson, man. Great strength of schedule. Now, these are going to be some of the players that worry me. Josh Jacobs. I thought that he could end the year as a top 3 running back. Now, I think that he will just perform to his ADP. I think he will be a running back 1. I think he will be a top 10 running back. I just do not. I think I'm going to take his ceiling down a little bit when you look at his schedule. ETN, man, terrible schedule again. Not doing him any favors. I think he will be sticking around the same ADP. James Cook, he has a bad strength of schedule as well. James Conner. Breece Hall, who I don't give a fuck, dude. I'm going to put Breece Hall against anybody. He just needs that long touchdown. And then CMC, a bad schedule this season, but his usage and his touchdown rate, I do not care. So out of these players, I do not care about CMC and Hall. I think I care a little bit on all the other ones. But as a whole, where I thought that the quarterbacks, it really mattered if you had a good or bad strength of schedule. I think that here with the running backs, it does not matter as much, but we should pay attention to it. All right, guys, let's look at the wide receivers. Number 1, CeeDee Lamb, man, had the easiest strength of schedule last year. And of course, he was the number 1 wide receiver from last season just because Hill was injured. Jalen Hyatt, man, he was the top drafted New York Giants wide receiver. I'm calling that a wash. Brandon Ayuk, he outperformed what he was drafted. He broke out big time. Even that first game against the Steelers were like, what the fuck? Justin Jefferson, man, he was the number 1 wide receiver until he got injured, but still really easy strength of schedule, and he finished as a top 5 wide receiver even without Kirk Cousins. A.J. Brown, man, top 5 strength of schedule from last year and finished as a top 5 wide receiver. Had a stretch, man, where he was beaten up on bad teams. And then here we go, man, Rashee Rice, the alcoholic / race car enthusiast. Let's see. He had the 60th easiest strength of schedule, and he broke out big time, but we were just waiting for a wide receiver to break out for Patrick Mahomes. It just happened to be him. Who knows if he will be around. But yeah, dude, plus 38 as a net. They had 2 out of 3. Oh, no, 3 out of 4 overperformed. So that's like 75% because we do not count the zeros. That's just kind of a wash. And then here we go, man. Let's look at the wide receivers with the worst strength of schedule. Kendrick Bourne, still overproduced, man. Nobody knew who was going to be the number 1 for that team, so That was kind of a gamble taking him, and it paid off. Then here we go, man. Ja'Marr Chase, taken as wide receiver number 2 last year. He had a terrible strength of schedule. Joe Burrow went down in flames, and that was a real big deal here. But still, you saw what Joe Burrow did with that strength of schedule. Not good. Chase, man, underperformed. -9. Finished as wide receiver 11. Keenan Allen, my boy, my man, my baby. He had the 3rd hardest strength of schedule last season and finished as wide receiver 3 for points per game until he went down. Cost me my fucking championship, but that's okay. Let's see. ADP was 19. Totally overproduced that, man. So we're looking at overproducing wide receivers with terrible strength of schedules right now, dude. Nico Collins, holy shit, this guy broke out too. He finished as wide receiver 12, man. If you go by points per game, he probably been like wide receiver 5. But still, ADP was off the charts. This guy overperformed like a motherfucker. Evans, man. I told you Evans was dead. Do not worry about Evans, man. Baker Mayfield can't hit the goddamn ground if he aimed at it. Well, I was wrong. Mike Evans, man, overperformed again. So, and then Tyreek Hill, he had a terrible schedule, and it didn't matter, man. That guy was setting records. So I feel like this was 4 of 5 overperforming. So we have 3 of 4 overperforming on the top, 4 of 5 overperforming on the bottom. Dude, straight the schedule does not fucking matter when you're looking at wide receivers. That's what I'm getting. But regardless, let's look at the wide receivers from this season, 2024, with the best strength of schedule. Deontay Johnson, man. Somebody's got to catch passes there. They're setting up Bryce Young for success again. He might be going up my rankings. We got Jalen Reed. I always forget his name, but I'm high on him. Calvin Ridley, Drake London. They are trying to set up the Falcons for success right now. But Drake London's going high, man. ADP at 10. DJ Moore. Get yourself some DJ Moore. I am all about DJ Moore. I'm higher on him than most. Michael Pittman. He's going to get a ton of targets, man. We talked about Anthony Richardson getting set up for success as well. And then George Pickens. No, that's terrible. I don't know how I feel about George Pickens, man. I mean, people are drafting him as like a flex option right now, and that's probably where he deserves. Ja'Marr Chase is scaring the shit out of me. And then let's see, Sutton. I think this sucks because I don't want Sutton. I think his name's Jalen Williams. I can't remember his name. But he went to college with Bo Nix, and he was drafted there. So I kind of want him. Just think about Marquise Colston. His rookie year was he was wide receiver 5 overall, and that was playing with Sean Payton. Brandon Ayuk has a terrible schedule this year. He had a great schedule last year. A.J. Brown, shitty schedule. I really don't like where A.J. Brown is going, man, because you don't know if he's going to get outperformed by Devontae Smith on a given week. And then Tyreek Hill, I don't care, dude. He had a shitty schedule last year, shitty schedule this year. I will take Tyreek Hill over CeeDee Lamb any day of the week. All right, in summary, I want to look at this real fast. Quarterbacks with a good strength A schedule outperformed the ADP by 40 points pretty much in total. Top 6 did. And with a bad strength of schedule, they underperformed their ADP by 42. Do I care? Do I think it matters? Strength of schedule matters there? Yes, I do. Hard yes. I will be paying attention. So 4 out of the 5, man, in quarterbacks outperformed. 1 out of 5 outperformed their ADP with a bad strength of schedule. Running backs, 59 net positive for the running backs with a good schedule last year. -6 net for the bad schedule people, and they both had 3 out of 5 overperformed. 3 out of 5 overperformed, but it was the extent to which they overperformed. So I will be paying attention to strength of schedule for running backs, even though I will not weight it as much as I will with quarterbacks. Next up, wide receivers, man. Dude, net positive +38 with a good schedule. They tripled that almost with a bad schedule. So 3 out of the 4 overperformed with a good schedule. Shit, man, 4 out of 5 overperformed with a bad schedule. Do I think it matters on wide receivers? Hell no, dude. If they've got a bad schedule, do not give a fuck, okay? So that is what we're going off of right now. All right, everybody, we answered that question. Does strength of schedule actually matter? Yes and no and everything in between. So it's complicated. Quarterbacks, yes. Running backs, maybe. And wide receivers, hell no, man. And I do want to point out one thing for a certain running back. Derrick Henry, week 14 gets a bye. Week 15, the first week of fantasy football playoffs, gets to go against the Giants, man. So I will be drafting Derrick Henry just so I win my first round of fantasy football playoffs, man. Hopefully I earned a thumbs up. Hopefully I earned a subscription, man. We need it. We need to get to 1,000. Come on, man. Please help us out here. This is the Fantasy Red Zone. I am Tyler, Big Turd Ward, and I appreciate you